Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. In this video, I wanted to speculate on the backstory of Din Djarin, touch a bit on the potential Mandalorian spin-offs, and also consider what Boba Fett was up to after Return of the Jedi. Let's get started. We know very little about Din Djarin's past. The only info we got is from the show itself. The upcoming Mandalorian novel by Adam Christopher that is bound for a 2021 release, along with future Mando Marvel tie-in comics, might reveal some of our favorite bounty hunters' backstory that is currently shrouded in mystery. Episode 6 of the first season, entitled The Prisoner, sort of established that Din Djarin, as a longtime mercenary and bounty hunter, used to run in with all kinds of different crowd, likely crime syndicate members and whatnot. Djarin was well aware of who Fennec Shand was, and just seems very familiarized with the galactic underworld. I think if there's ever a show that acts as a continuation of the Han Solo standalone narrative, with Crimson Dawn and all, we might see Mando pop up in there. If such a show does not happen, I am pretty sure that at the very least we'll be getting Mando spin-off novels, exploring the characters of Boba Fett and Din Djarin. Mando also seems to be very knowledgeable about Tatooine, its inhabitants and so forth. Makes you wonder if he used to work for someone there in the past. A certain Hutt perhaps? This again could link Han Solo with Boba Fett and Din Djarin. Both Han and Boba worked for Jabba. This also leads me to believe that Mando probably knows who Boba Fett really is. At the time of the Galactic Civil War, Fett was one of the most famous bounty hunters in the galaxy. It would simply be weird if Djarin never heard of him. This could tie in to the very next episode actually. In The Marshal, it wasn't very clear if Mando recognized Boba's armor, but he very well might have. You'd actually think he did not recognize it, since Culp Vanth had to introduce himself and explain that he is not a Mando. That was only done to inform the audience though. I think it will be established that Boba and Djarin did indeed know each other, or at the very least have heard of one another. I guess it is likely that Mando just didn't recognize the suit instantly, but now that he has it with him, he might. Before the Clone Wars Boba Fett story arcs, the character of Boba was a rather one-dimensional character. This badass, background still, villain. The Lucasfilm story group decided to make the character more morally gray to shake things up a little. In the animated show, Boba Fett is rather compassionate, good even. He has a sense of honor, a set of rules that he follows. Much like Mando. I mean, there were novels in the expanded universe and Legends, some canon stuff even, that enforced the character as a ruthless bounty hunter. Marvel Star Wars comics portrayed him in such a manner as well. That does not mean that he will necessarily be an antagonist in The Mandalorian. Supposedly, it is canon that Jango Fett was not a Mandalorian, and same goes for Boba, since he is Jango's quotation mark son, a foundling of sorts. Many people have such a presumption because of what Prime Minister Olmec said in The Clone Wars that Jango Fett is not a Mandalorian, cause the character never lied to anyone, am I right? Why would you make two characters that were the symbol of Mandalorian culture in Star Wars non-Mandalorian? It just doesn't make sense to do so. I am convinced that Olmec lied and that Jango was a Mandalorian, which will make Boba Fett a Mandalorian as well. This has some interesting implications for the potential relation between Din Djarin and Boba. The question remains, what was Boba Fett up to after Return of the Jedi? Was he living as a hermit in solitude all this time? Much like Kenobi. Did he leave his armor behind out of shame? Was he tracking Culp Vanth all this time? Perhaps he was entrapped within the Sarlacc and the Jawas stole the armor off of him, after he barely managed to escape. I believe that all of these questions will be answered, likely in the very next episode. I suppose they could abandon this narrative and pick it up in a few episodes, but I find that very unlikely. If you have any insights regarding this, be sure to leave a comment below, and may the Force be with you always.